Hey friends, I hope you have a beautiful day. In this video, I talk about depression symptoms and this kind of dark mental space and how to get out of it. And important disclaimer like depression symptoms, it's a huge complex topic. There are so many different factors that play a role. Each person is very different, each story is very different. So, this video is just me sharing things that helped me, and maybe you can just pick and choose what works for you, and maybe it helps you too. And also, trigger warning, I will talk about really dark things. Depression as a whole, depression symptoms as a whole, it's a very dark thing for me at least, so watch with care if you struggle with those darker topics, I would say. And yeah, so for me, a little bit of a context. A couple of months ago, or like 10, 11 months ago, I started trauma therapy, and actually, it really opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And as a consequence of the trauma that I saw now because of trauma therapy more clearly, I became very sad and I experienced many, if not all of those, like depression symptoms. And it was a really difficult time for me to navigate a lot of different changes within myself. And so, and that's why I want to talk about it. And I talk about depression symptoms because what my therapist told me, or at least what I kind of understood from it, is that I didn't have depression because my depression symptoms, they were caused by external factors. So me doing trauma therapy and the sad things that happened to me um, in my past, basically. And because that was so hard for me to accept, that's why I developed those depression symptoms. And depression, from my understanding, is more like a disease that people can have. And it's, wow, if you have depression, that's horrible. Because for me, I know, okay, because I have all of those depression symptoms, I know that it will get better eventually, because I'm not a depressed person per se, and depression is much more like a disease, and it's, from my understanding, apparently much harder to really heal or to get out of it. So yeah, and that's why I talk about depression symptoms, because for me it was caused by external events, like the events that I uncovered in trauma therapy. So first of all, in this video, I will talk about what depression symptoms are, and then I will talk about solutions and strategies that helped me to make my way out of this dark mental space. So some of the depression symptoms is emotional symptoms. So for me, it was like this persistent sadness. So I was always sad, and even if I had fun, I was still sad. I was just, my inner being, I was very sad, and I could meet with friends and have fun, quote unquote, and then get home and just cry for hours. So I was very, very sad. I was also feeling very empty, very hopeless, and very worthless. So just this feeling that I'm kind of stuck and it will not get better. So a very dark mental space. Also, it's much, for me and for many people who experience those symptoms, they can also feel very irritable, or they can get angry a lot, or if they receive a small criticism, it can hurt so much. And that's also kind of how I felt, and just like completely like overwhelmed in a way. So overwhelmed by, you hear small noises and it immediately feels like a bomb is exploding. Like when I was listening or hearing a firework, I was like, oh, there's a firework, kind of annoying, but okay. But during that time when I heard a firework, it was like my mind was exploding, because it was just so loud and it felt like I was in a war zone. So that can be some of the emotional symptoms. There's also physical symptoms, such as, for example, changes in sleep pattern. Either you sleep all the time or a lot, or you can't sleep at all. Then it can happen that you lose your appetite, or you overeat. You have no energy. You're just existing and not really living. And also more physical symptoms. How it manifested for me is I got a lot of like back pain. Like my back was so tense, so I had a lot of pain in my back. And still right now I'm trying to go to physiotherapy and try to release all that tension, but yeah, I'm still not there. and also behavioral changes. So for example, some of those trauma symptoms could be that you withdraw from friends, you have just no joy anymore, so you don't go to any activities and you don't do any hobbies anymore. You just, yeah, you're just more at home, maybe spend time in nature, but you don't really hang out with friends anymore. You just lost general motivation to live a life in a way. And also cognitive symptoms could be that it becomes really hard to make decisions, and that's because, at least for me, I was just so overwhelmed by so many emotional things that I had to work through, that I just became so overwhelmed, and it felt so difficult to make even simple decisions. So just if my boyfriend, for example, asked me, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" I was like, I couldn't make a decision. It was just so hard, and that could be a sign, or also that it's difficult to concentrate. Like even small things, they just feel very hard to do. Like even small things that maybe before that whole depression symptom started, you had no problem to do them, and now it just feels very overwhelming. um, and also in severe cases, recurring thoughts of death or suicide, or just very risky behavior, such as walking over a red light, and if you get run over by a car or not, you don't care anymore. So these could all be some symptoms of depression symptoms. So what helped me to make my way out of it? I mean, it's still not 100% good. Like, I'm still really sad inside, but it's for sure much, much better than 10 months ago, I would say. So what helped me is, first of all, and I think that's the most important one, is to get professional help. For example, for me, I had a therapist, and I could call him like 24/7 or text him 24/7 if I would feel bad, for example. And that gave me a lot of safety, because just having someone that is like a professional in that area, who has expertise in mental health, who understands also when it gets dangerous or when it doesn't get dangerous, like it's so for me it was so comforting in a way, because of trauma therapy, my whole, at least from a feeling emotional perspective, my whole world just broke down, and I felt like I lost complete safety in this world, and I just felt like I'm not okay. And so if you have a professional, like a therapist, whatever it is, who you have like 24/7 access to in a way, even though you maybe don't text them 24/7, but just that opportunity that you can text him or her, and that for me was super helpful. And then of course, like talking with a therapist, that's for me super helpful, to be with a professional who understands all of those depression symptoms, etc. So that was very valuable. Another thing that helped me a lot was to express myself. So for me, how it looked like was those YouTube videos. I mean, I talked about my journey. I talked about different things that I was working through, such as perfectionism, people pleasing, codependency, etc. And it really helped me a lot to break those topics down in smaller videos and step by step make my way out of this dark space. But of course on YouTube I only share what I'm comfortable with, and there's so many people are very hateful, judgmental, so I really just share what I'm comfortable with and then I still have like my private Instagram account with only like close friends, and in my stories I shared like everything like that I know my like really close friends they would not judge me for. So that was kind of what really helped me. A lot of journaling as well, writing things down, then for me sharing them also, that helped me a lot. But for you it could be very different things. It could be writing a book, making a movie, could be painting, whatever it is that liberates your soul. That can be super helpful. But I read a quote which was like the how would you say, the solution to depression is expression. So to express yourself, to not eat all of your emotions and feelings and keep it inside hidden, but really to let it out. For me that helped so much. And to also before that I think I was a little bit like having the feeling I have to be okay. Like also how I portrayed myself on YouTube was a little bit like coming from I wanted to be an expert in nutrition, coming from that perspective. And now I realize that because of therapy, that we're just human beings, and everyone is like, no matter how much money they make or whatever, everyone is going through difficult things at least once in their life, or usually multiple times in their life. So we're all just humans, and it's just much better to come from that perspective of sharing your vulnerabilities and being able to connect. So for me, that helped a lot to express myself. Also, what helped me a lot was cognitive behavioral therapy. So really talking about all of those mindset blocks that I had, so such as codependency, low self-esteem, external validation, perfectionism, and to talk about all of those different things. That was so helpful, and to really question a lot of beliefs that I had also from my childhood, maybe also like this business, this nutrition business. Why did I started this business? Was it what were my motivations of starting this business? And then you have like, okay, of course, motivations helping other people, but then there were also some subconscious motivations, such as pleasing or proving myself. And that's obviously really can be very damaging for, and was very damaging for, my mental health. So to be able to talk with a professional about all of those different mental blocks that many people and I had and still have and still work through, that was very helpful. And then what's been super helpful and very necessary is to protect myself from people who don't understand mental health. And for me, how it looked like was to first spend more time with my boyfriend and with like being in contact with my therapist, because my boyfriend understands mental health and he could really support me, and he's still supporting me with all of this kind of mindset things going on, and my therapist obviously as well. So that was really helpful. And what's also helpful was disabling the comment section. That was one of the best things I've done for my mental health, because there's just so many horrible people on the internet, unfortunately. And if you're in a bad mental health spot and you get like bad or hateful comments, it just hurts you even more. So it's very important to protect yourself in whatever ways that looks like. And for me, disabling the comment section, I wish I would have done it years ago actually, to protect myself. What's also really important for me was to prioritize my mental health, because before that I think I was really living a little bit for others, like, is this person okay, is this person okay? And now, really, for the first time in my life, I was not okay, because of course I had already experienced certain challenges, like my first breakup, which was also really hard for me. But I was also like, I was always, even though I was not okay in the moment, still in the grand scheme of things, I still felt safe. And now with this trauma therapy, for me, really, this was the first time in my life where I was not okay. So it's really important in that situation to put yourself first, to say like, I will do whatever feels whatever feels conducive, positive for my mental health. If I don't want to go to events, obviously, like, if you have the opportunity to not go, then don't go. I spend a lot of time just with myself, spending time in nature, grieving, crying, and just and taking that time for myself. So I was probably during that time not the best friend. Like, I was not really listening much to some other people, because this was really the time for myself, to focus on myself, be in nature, and just be and cry and grieve. And yeah, so that was really important, also to set certain boundaries, not only physical boundaries but also emotional boundaries, to really put your own mental health first. And I find that was really ironic, because on my channel I talked so much about like physical health, like eating healthy, but when your mental health, and my mental health was not okay, it just doesn't matter. Like, if you're raw vegan, or if you were 100% raw vegan or not, in that moment, it doesn't matter. Like, if your mental health is not okay, nothing matters anymore. So for me, that was just a really big learning point for me, that my mental health is really the most important thing, with also my physical health. And then if I have my mental health and my physical health, then I can really focus on other things. But that's just my biggest priority in my life, because as I experience now, without your mental health, you have nothing in life. So yeah, that was really important for me to set boundaries, focus on my mental health, and have time for myself. I think what many people experience also if they start trauma therapy is that as a natural consequence, they just have less time for other things. So, for example, they have less time for work, which is natural, because trauma therapy, it's not like voodoo science, but it's really like you have to put in the work. So you have to actually journal. And I'm so sorry, I think my roommate is making a smoothie or something, so I'm sorry for the background noise. But yeah, like um this trauma therapy, you really have to put in the work. So you have to rewrite negative beliefs. In my case, it was really a lot of work. Like I spent a lot of hours, a lot of days, not just doing this emotional part of crying, releasing emotions, but also that cognitive part of rewriting negative beliefs, rewriting my story, etc., etc. So it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of effort. And so it's just natural that you cannot, if you have worked maybe 60 hours before, it's impossible to do trauma therapy and work 60 hours before, because you need time to release emotions, you need time to actually sleep, and to kind of give yourself that break, because it's a really really, I mean, also depending on your trauma, but it's a really exhausting journey. And it's really, you're like in a storm, you get thrown to one side and to another side. It's like you're just like a ball flying around everywhere. So it's really really exhausting. So if you have the opportunity to take more time for yourself, that's amazing. And that's what I did. Like I was, and I'm still doing freelance work, so I could not make sick because I would not make any money. But I definitely reduced the hours that I worked, and that was for sure necessary. And that was really helpful, because the past years I saved up money so that I could now spend more time really trying to get my mental health back, working through trauma, and that was very, very necessary to reduce the hours. And I can recommend that. Another thing that's really important is to learn about mental health, and that helped me so much to learn about depression, learn about mental health, because when you do that, you can actually, or I could actually differentiate and between, okay, this is me and this is my mental health, or this is the depression symptoms. And I wish I would have done that maybe a little bit earlier in my journey, because yeah, because I didn't really understand all of those depression symptoms. Like I was basically feeling like a small child again, not being able to make any decisions. And I wish I would have known, okay, this is just the depression symptoms and this is not you. So once you're getting out of this depression symptoms, eventually you will be able to make decisions again. And it's just because your hardware, like your whole system, is just so overloaded with all of this emotional baggage to work through. So that's why you cannot function right now. But it's not you as a person who is not able to function right now. Or I got also really really negative headspace. Like I'm usually a person, and that's also what my therapist told me, I'm usually a person, I'm very positive, I'm really excited about things. But during that time I lost all hope, I became really negative. There was just nothing good anymore in this world, and I was thinking, wow, am I just a negative sad person now? Is that me? But now I realize it's just the depression symptoms. Is really like a virus, like a cancer that goes into your head and makes everything black again. There's like this song by Amy Winehouse, which is Back to Black, and that's how it feels to be in this depression symptoms. Like it's just like a snip and you're back to black and there's nothing positive anymore. It's like the Dementors and Harry Potter when they go to the people and they get like, in how do you say, like they take all the positivity and they leave only darkness and nothingness. So that's how it feels. So yeah, it's really important to, for me it was really important to learn about mental health, to learn about depression symptoms, to gain an understanding, to understand, okay, first of all, this depression symptom is not me, it's just this depression symptoms. And also to allow myself to to not function as well as I did before this whole trauma therapy situation. because as I said, you're overloaded emotionally. There's so much to work through on an emotional basis, so you cannot expect from yourself the same, that you can achieve the same workload as you did before working through those emotional baggage. And what also really helped me a lot was bringing fun into your life. This is something that is overlooked, but it's super, super important to do that. And actually, I will make, probably because I have, so I think it's important to have like fun. That's so, so, so important, because if you have those depression symptoms, it's so easy to get to be depressed. Like your battery is low, low, low. So if you have fun, like hanging out with friends or doing something good for yourself, like buying your favorite food or buying a new dress, whatever it means, just something fun for yourself, you can really fill up and recharge your batteries, and that can help so, so, so much. And yeah, and also what helped me so much was to create a sense of normalcy, because when I had those depression symptoms, I was yeah, my whole world was falling down. So I felt so out of life. I felt like I'm broken, my life is broken. And so what really helped me was to get this sense of normalcy again, was to go, for example, in a city, sit on a bench and just watch people, and then people walk by and they just have all their normal life. And somehow that helped me to gain back that perspective of normalcy. Also working, having a routine, that can help a lot. Just so that you wake up every day at the same time, you go to bed every day at the same time. That kind of routine can really help you to get back that sense of normalcy. What also can help you is to make a change in your life, regarding also on why you have experienced those depression symptoms. So for me, really important, I had to create boundaries with people, also emotional and physical boundaries with certain people. That was really, really important for me. I had to work on emotionally a lot on like perfectionism, codependency, etc. And for you it can look like changing jobs, ending a relationship, moving to a different country, moving to a different city, whatever it is that is causing your depression symptoms, to make changes, to maybe create distance from a person, but really to create a change in your life. And I think then you can also use this whole depression symptoms as a chance for a new beginning. For me, it was really, I felt like I was dying and now I'm slowly coming into the new version of myself, a version that is more empowered, that has more self-esteem, that has more self-love, that can set boundaries, and that is more confident. So yeah, use it maybe even as a possibility for change and growth. And then some more advice, probably some advice that is more, that I don't know how to say, like that people probably already know, is first of all, no drugs and no alcohols, because drugs, they never solve the problem, they just prolong the problem. Also eating healthy food, and that is helpful. Exercising is helpful. What's also helpful is to spend time in nature. What can also help is to take care of animals, volunteering. What also helps me a lot, I did and I'm still doing those challenges, such as 30-day gratitude challenge, 30-day positive self-talk challenge, etc. That can help a lot to step by step shift your perspective. What can also help is group activities, creative outlets such as dancing, painting. I feel like during this whole healing phase, which I'm still in, but in this whole healing phase, it was really an internal shift away from producing and being like me, a little bit like workaholic with my company, like producing, and more to being. I just wanted to be a human being. I wanted to be in nature. I wanted to connect with my boyfriend. I wanted to have fun. I just wanted my inner child to play, basically, and because I probably hadn't done it in the past years. So that was so important to bring back that fun, let it be through group activities, creative outlets. And what you can also do is create a vision board for your future, because if you're in that negative space, it can feel so hopeless. But if you create a vision board what your future might look like, then it might be easier for you to remember that this is just a phase in your life. I mean, if it's depression symptoms that are created by an external situation, that is just a period in your life and it will not always be like that. And that helped me so much. And of course, I mean, for me it's a year since I'm struggling with all of this negative headspace, and it will still last more time. So it's not just okay 1 month and then it's over. Like, it's a long time and it's very exhausting, but I still know that it will get better, and it's just a question of time, and it already has gotten so much better. So thank you so much for watching. It's been a long video, but if you have those depression symptoms, or if you struggle with depression, all of that, I can just send you so much love. It's really, really a difficult place to be in. It's really, really hard, but so sending so much love, but I really hope that it will get better for you. And yeah, if you like, you can give this video a like, you can subscribe to my channel. You can also check out the links if I'm offering something or whatever it is, because many people watch my videos also in like 5 years or 6 years or 1 year, so who knows what I'm currently offering. But if you want, you can check it out, and I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. See you soon.